YouTube, you fools try to limit me, muting and deleting channels, thinking that's the end of me. Y'all are not on my level, smaller than a centipede. This is my purpose, TBT is a ministry. I do not tire, my God gives me energy. Chose by Messiah, you believe, come get with me. Married to a black queen, we got the illest chemistry. Founded the black tube, and now we making history. Black tube, 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 what? Black tube, 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 what? TBT, 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 what? TBT, 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 what? TheBlackTube.com. I'm a giant killer, son of an omniscient God who's realer. If this be the thriller in Manila, I'm Ali in his prime. It's showtime, go time, about to take what's mine. We are not with your agenda, we showing real life.
All right. Peace and love. What up, though? What it do? What's popping? What's cracking? What's happening there? Time 9, time 10. Time 9, time 10. Hold on, hold on. Montezuma Drug Company. Montezuma Drug Company. Let's see. Let's see something. How about that? We see a photograph. Let's see what we get here. Montezuma Drug Company. Let's see. Boom. Montezuma Drug is a full-service independent retail pharmacy offering personalized customer service and a range of services including prescription fulfillment, vaccinations, and disease management programs, primarily serving the Montezuma, Kansas, and surrounding communities. Okay, so again, why? I guess, we would have to ask said owner, why did they pick that name. I was looking to see when this company started, right? What year? And again, this is in Kansas. So let's see what year. And then being that it's named after the city, that would be a dumb question to ask. Why did they name it that? Well, that's the name of the city. Dum dum. Montezuma, Kansas. Let's see. It doesn't. Yeah, it's not cooperating. And this is something. No, that's definitely not it. All right, you got some information. Now you know where this is located. It's been a minute since I used this particular photo, but I was asked some time ago and never answered the question. So if you're tuning in, you got your answer to your question, which is Montezuma, Kansas, is where this is located. So being that this is located in Montezuma, Kansas, I would assume this is why they chose the name. I would put money on it, right? I'm sure the drugstore was not named, that the city wasn't named after the drugstore. I'm sure that now, if I'm wrong, boy, uh, the odds of the city naming itself after the drugstore, where would you put your money at? Would you say that the drugstore was named after the city of Montezuma, Kansas, or or the city named itself after the name of the drugstore? Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, like if you won that bet, boy, like I said, those are some hell of a odds to consider. And I wasn't able to add on to the name of this particular live stream on Facebook, but I was able to edit and update the name of this live stream on YouTube. It wouldn't allow me to do it on Facebook, and I think that's because you only have so many minutes. But I thought because it was more than 10 minutes. It was actually 23 minutes when I attempted to do it. But again, Facebook wouldn't let me do it. So as I began to discuss things outside of the title, being B-Day, fire, air, earth, water, you don't get lost and distracted, because this is the third edition, the third episode to the trauma bonding that I continue to see has a strong bond. There's people out here who believe that Donald John Trump has like a spell over people or something like that. Instead of them being willing to admit that people are tired of the same old same. And again, I get it, but you must know, if you're willing to play the game with birds, when a bird shit on, how you get a fresh car wash, right? And I don't know statistically, because I've never looked this up, but the last and currently we have 3 black cars, and it seems like the birds really like to shit on the black cars, right? For some reason or another. So I don't mess with birds, and I'm not relating. I know that I'm not black like the car is black. Understand, but I don't mess with birds. I don't even eat chicken or turkey. So I'm anti-bird, not messing with the birds. If one wing off of one bird is smacking the shit out of me, I am smart enough to know I need to stay away from the entire bird. I'm not going to latch on to the right wing because I don't like the left wing, or latch on to the left wing because I don't like the right wing of it. I know not to fuck with the entire bird, right? I'm not, it's hilarious. It is. It's heartbreaking and painful at the same time, but for the most part, you just have to laugh at people, right? Who are indulging in, politics, right? Without even a seminar, let alone a degree in political science. They just yapping and they not recognizing the balances and the checks. Should I say it again like Dr. Umar Johnson? They're not recognizing the balances and the checks, and what uh where they fit at within the balances and the checks. Because that's what this shit is about. This is about big business, right? Big business. And if you are not a participant, right, in big business, then you are merely the token, right? The token that's getting slid into the machine so if they can play the fucking game. I don't mess with birds. Again, the switching of the sides of the bird when, again, the left wing is smacking the shit out of you, why would you then try to, switch over to the other wing of the bird? I'm just saying. Hold tight, hold tight. How I do this? How I do this? Hold on, hold on. Okay. Pardon the interruption, right? Little interruption. Where my camera at? Hola. So again, if I'm getting smacked in the head by the right wing of a bird, I'm not going to then make the decision to latch on to the left wing of the bird. Like, I'm not fucking with birds. Period. I don't want no part in no birds. Again, I don't eat no turkeys. I don't eat no chickens, and haven't partaken since August of 1994. So I don't fuck with the birds. I guess y'all gotta learn not to mess with the birds, right? So, I should be doing like a flashback or something with what we've discussed concerning the trauma bonding. And again, we all recognize when, the assassination attempt took place with old boy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was, again, for melanated people, that was, we felt that. We felt that. We bonded with that overwhelmingly. But right now, we gonna scoot back a little bit because based off of the trauma bonding people who I featured, right? And one of them most definitely was Candace Owens, who got dropped and, you know what I'm saying, lost her job, uh, saying and doing things that, went against the grain of progression for said company who she was an employee with, right? So, the trauma bonding, because many people who were not Candace Owens fans began to gravitate towards, her journalism, we'll say, right? Her commentaries, her rhetoric, her narrative, and these things like this and that, right? And talk about, shit coming back to bite you in your bum. Currently, there's a particular group of Trump supporters who are now dragging her through the mud based on, I don't know. I don't know what she's recently said because I'm not a follower of anything that she does. I'll just keep it 100 with you, right? Again, they're dragging her and now accusing her as being a elemental TQTTP, or better yet, a transsexual, right? They're saying that she was born a male, the same way you have people saying that Michelle Obama was born a male. As she, again, Candace Owens participated in that racist satire that was being spread about Michelle Obama, right? But now, same said inventors and originators of that satire documentary about Michelle Obama and Venus and Serena Williams being born males, all three of them. It wasn't just, see, this shit goes far back, goes a little bit further back than when you heard about it, right? Or when you heard Joan Rivers speak about it, it goes back a little bit further than that, right? So, with that being said, now these same groups are, creating a buzz out here on social media by saying that Candace Owens also was born a male. And what they're doing is they're using uh, photographs of her when she was in like elementary and middle school and saying that she's a boy and she really looks like a boy. And they have some of the students, or maybe a student who went to school with her during this time, and said that she wouldn't shower with the girls, right? She would have to shower alone by request, right? And they're saying with that bit of information, this is the reason, well, one of the reasons that they're claiming that she was born a male. Again, all of that, sucking up that she was doing, right? Y'all call it cooning or whatnot. It's biting her in the ass now. Again, she lost the job at Daily Mail, right? And now they're calling her a male. I couldn't make this shit up. Like, it's, for me, it's not even worth me digging it out to show to you all, because this is just something that just uh, came to pass. I just heard about it like maybe 2 or 3 days ago, right? And within that time frame, I haven't posted anything about it. I haven't even, you know, talked about it. But this is what they do, and this is how they do. They have no love for you, especially the ones who team up with them, right? or create a following by way of supporting them, right? So you support, you rally for these various entities, whether they are in the left wing of the bird or the right wing of the bird. And then again, when the birds start flapping, trying to smack you off the wing, instead of you letting go of the whole bird, you go for the other wing of the bird. Like, what kind of shit? I mean, if this was a tactic that was going to be successful in uh, uh, making the bird land where you want it to land, that's one thing. But this has not worked for us because, again, this is a system that was set up, right? And it's not just, it's a business. Let's be real. And some of my constituents have no problem, speaking about the fact that this is a business or a corporation, corporate entity, things like this and that. We look up certain USC statutes and codes and find out this, that, and the third. This is not new information. We've known this for decades, right? But being that this dollar is being used in many other nations, most of these nations outside of uh, England, should we say the UK, they have a preference for this dollar over the dollar of their own nations. They would prefer to, you know it's true. If your ass been to Jamaica, or you know what I'm saying, if you've been to damn even Egypt, they have a preference for the United States Federal Reserve note over their own based off of value. I heard a brother make a statement. He's a supporter of Trump and the things that Trump is doing. And I told y'all, and y'all just don't understand because y'all keep trying to make this about race, and it's not about race. Brother, I would have to say to you in the most sincerest manner, no matter how much French I use during this statement, you don't know what you're talking about. If you have been duped into thinking that this system is one that does not operate around race, you don't know anything about politics, right? You don't. You don't know the history of, you don't know enough of the history of either party when we're talking about the Democrats or the Republicans. Most of us just in a portion of us just in the recent 5 to 10 years just found out about uh so-called blacks or Negroes controlling the Republican Party, right? And actually holding seat, right? Post 1865. Again, many people, did not know this. They didn't know that there were so-called Negro or black senators and congressmen and things like this, like immediately post 1865 or post Civil War, if you will, post Emancipation Proclamation, if you will, right? And many of us, again, we already knew this information. Even if you watched the original Birth of a Nation back, in the 80s or the 90s, right? These facsimils that they were sharing, that I've shared throughout, gave you this information. So you had a understanding of the Red Summer and what happened in Tulsa and Rosewood and Wilmington and so on and so forth in 60 different documented towns. And this is just the ones that were documented. So if they have 60 that are documented, imagine how many actually existed. Where, again, when you look at the original The Birth of a Nation by D.W. Griffith, what's that, 1915? They first red carpet film event where they did a premiere and all of the stars came out, right? Excuse me, all of the Hollywood celebrities came and and were in attendance, and they even showed it at the White House, and you know what I'm saying, like 1915. So post 1915 again is when you have your red summers. You have a lot of reporting of lynchings being done to our people, right? Like with the help, again, with the help and aided of local, state, and federal government, military, peace God, military, as well as I'm sure. When I say military, I'm speaking all arms, right? Not just army, you know. Some of these places where, or some of these towns where our ancestors had acres and acres and acres and acres of land and businesses and banks and doctors and law offices, hospitals. I said doctors, I was trying to say doctors' offices, hospitals, banks, and, grocery stores, and just any and everything that you would find, where you find a population of people to be, right? Um, wow, this is crazy. Crazy, crazy. I just don't, I can't grasp how I have over an understanding of this system and how it was built in the way, it functions, it was meant to function that way, and looking at everything that's happening now and that has happened historically to us and our ancestors, right? What would make one want to support either wing of the bird? Yes, again, I very well know. I actually, the photograph that shows the brothers, I used to be able to name them. Like, I used to make copies of that shit back in 2005, along with other documents, and, give them to people. So I'm aware of the Republican Party originally, what it I'm gonna say originally. I'm gonna say what it was for that particular time. Because remember, Abraham Lincoln was also a Republican. And speaking of, we're gonna talk about this Black National Anthem right quick, right? Because this is some more trauma bonding that it fits. It fits. Now, when you think about the Black National Anthem, you know, uh, who's the author of that? Who wrote the National Black Anthem, right? And when you find out who wrote it, then you have to ask, how did this fascination with us, and how did it, because it wasn't called a National Black Anthem. You know what I'm saying? That's not the name of it. It's not what it was. This is a hymn that was sung when Abraham Lincoln was born. How that joint go? That National Black Anthem. See, at our kindergarten graduation, I remember we had to sing it, and every single one of us 5 and 6 year olds knew that song word for word. It is a Christian. Thank you. Put me on. It is a Christian hymn. And again, who was the one in historically responsible for making it a memorandum that this song was sung? Listen to me, during Abraham Lincoln's birth, right? Now, it was the NAACP or somebody in that directive who um, decide to coin that as the National Black Anthem. That's what had happened. And yeah, was it in the same here in the 90s? Yeah, I'm just saying this is crazy. Yeah, lift every voice and sing to heaven ring. Yeah, I remember I remember our kindergarten teacher, Miss Green, crying when we graduated. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was crazy. And it's some more crazy stuff, because I remember they used to make us watch what's the name of that one joint they show on PBS every year, you know, during Black History Month, which I guess we won't have Black History Month until they put it back. I guess when the Democrats put it back, those black people who vote for the Democrats to get them back, will rally, for them to put Black History Month back in effect. Like, this shit crazy. Now, no matter how you feel about Black History Month, no matter how I feel about it, you would have to admit that during that era in your life, I'm not saying later on that you wouldn't have learned who certain people was, like Charles Drew and I don't know why I want to call the guy Michael Henderson, the guy that went, the brother, the ancestor who went to the North Pole or whatnot. It's just quite a few people that were on the walls, during Black History Month. At my elementary, again, I wouldn't have learned about it till later on. So, man, it's a little crazy, y'all. It's a little crazy, but get back is get back. So we're gonna talk about some get back, right? Did y'all hear about the judge who was picked for jury duty? And the way that he decided that he was going to get out of jury duty is to, they ask you questions. They ask each juror questions like, what's your occupation? Your name, your age, where you live at, and things like this and that, right? So he says, who he is. He's a judge at such and such district court, blah, 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 whatever, whatever. And let me, because I want to quote him verbatim. I don't want to fuck it up. Where he at? Hold on. That ain't it. Okay, here it go right here. Matter of fact, I'm going to share it with y'all too. So you know that I ain't just talking, which I don't do anyway. That's the problem that I have with a lot of broadcasters and wannabe scholars. They just be out here regurgitating some team. Yeah, so that's it right there. Let's go. So, what he said cost him his job. So Richard Snyder, a town justice in upstate New York, said he could not serve as an impartial grand juror because he believed anyone appearing before him was guilty. Right? So the ending results of him, again, he said that anybody who walks into his courtroom or a courtroom is guilty. He don't care about facts or testimony or none of that. You guilty because you are in there, right? So what ended up happening to him is the legislative whatever judge organization got together and they fired his ass. So now he don't have a job. He's no longer a judge. He's no longer a judge who, when you come into his courtroom, you are already guilty. Based off the fact that you are in the courtroom, you are already a criminal, which goes against innocent until proven guilty, which they go against Matthew Henson. Thank you. I cannot. What did I call that, brother? I would have to apologize, but yup, where he at? Matthew Henson. Yup. I like, and this is the thing. As an adult, and as I got older, I heard less and less about that ancestor. So you know what I'm saying? Yeah, they didn't, and we think we know so much, and I'm saying we, really not even include myself. I done learned my lesson 1,000 times over the decades of my lifetime. The arrogance and not being willing to listen and not having the ability to dialogue with people so that you can, so that you can learn. When you have it in your mind that you already know that this person is wrong without not just hearing them out, but weighing out the facts to the situation and also acknowledging that there are some things that you don't know about this particular subject, topic, individual, or place, person, thing, whatever it is. You understand? Yeah, but no better for him. He has no job. Right? His tenure, how they say that? Tenure has ended. It is over. Tenure. He's done. No more judging for him. So something else, like we have another plane crash that happened last night in Atlanta, February 15th. In Atlanta, another plane crash. right? But yet people are not willing to blame Elon and Trump line and you know what I'm saying for all the firing that they've been doing, right? He where is that? I know I got it somewhere. So them what he's done is he's put a hiring freeze on the air traffic controllers, right? And he did that like his first week or two, of actually being in the Oval Office. He did that. As well as he fired the FAA director. I don't know, what his name is. It's easy to Google. Did Trump fire the FAA director, right? But as far as him putting a hiring freeze, right, on an air traffic controller, and the fact that there hasn't been a commercial jet crash since 2009, that makes me, if I'm going to be logical about the situation, it has to have something to do with this administration. I don't know what happened to the mute. Right. It just, yeah, like I don't get it. Like again, he put a freeze to the hiring of the air traffic controller. So let's look at this from a statistic manner, right? You have people who are retiring. You also have those who are new hires, or maybe not if they a DEI hire, like this shit is crazy. Because think about it. The new people who are filling those positions, or since he put a freeze on it, are not filling those positions, naturally they're going to learn from someone who has been in that position for 20 and 30 and 15 and 10 or more years, right? Because they're experienced, right? So the way that they are going about this process of elimination is going to trickle down to all of us. We know this. We know this. And for those who um are not, living at, above, or just on the poverty line, who aren't a part of the middle class, which is disappearing, and it used to be a lower and upper middle class, right? For those who on a quarterly basis are grossing, over $250,000, right? The effects may be the opposite of those who are on the lower end of the totem pole. We're not for sure yet, right? Because again, it's just February the 16th. When was he sworn in? January the what? Like, it's again February the 16th. Even if I was going to say the exact date that he was sworn in, right? Again, it's just the 16th of February. So it's a lot going on. A lot of people will be avoiding airplanes at this point in time, based on the decisions that are being made to cut, you know, try and like, look here. If he was able to decrease uh, the spending, you know what I'm saying, to so many $billion a year, right? He only in there for 4 years. So many, let's say it's 300 billion. He's able to, budget shit down to 300 billion a year. That would be pennies in comparison to the 30 something, almost $40,000. I mean, 40,000, 40, 30 something $1 trillion deficit that they have. That throughout history has only increased. It does not decrease. It only increases. And with a population boom, what they won't speak on is the fact that the more people that they have listed as subject citizens, the more, yeah, I'm having technical difficulties over here. But yeah, the more that the population increases, the more cushion, if that's what you want to call it, that's what they'll have, because again, they pledged the people, you know what I'm saying? They pledged the people as collateral for the debt. This started in 1933 or 29 or whenever, right? So to speak. So within that time, we'll just say from 1933 up until now, they've put millions of so-called laws on the books in order to, I don't want to say manipulate, because again, if I'm a business, the more policy I create, the more chances I have to usurp, to, I wouldn't even call it being parasitic, although that's what it is, but you're able to usurp resources and keep and hoard resources by way of your policy, and a whole bunch of other stuff you're going to do with those policies. Those are just the two things that we're focusing on this evening, because we were talking about something in particular, because again, we know what it is. This goes back to chattel property and having people listed as POWs, and warehouse receipts, and just understand the language that I'm using. You have the ability to research all of this yourself. I don't have a reason to sit here and pull anybody nuts, as the elders will say. Not pulling your nuts, you pull your own nuts. It's my birthday. I'm not pulling your nuts, right? You pull your own nuts. So, I'm saying, how many plane crashes is this so far? Like, realistically, since his election, not since his election, but since he's actually been in the Oval Office, how many plane crashes has it been? And again, to try and just brush it off, I'm aware of what he said about the first crash. He blamed that on DEI hiring. Like, when we start talking about stuff like affirmative action and things of that nature, we know who are the largest demographic of beneficiaries of that, which would be the Caucasian female, right? So, thus, this is why someone who was actively at the forefront of constructing that bill, known as affirmative action, which were made for not minorities but for Black people. Again, these bills were structured with this particular one. I don't know where DEI comes in at. I'm sure it's on the branch of affirmative action, though. I know that because that predates that, right? So again, that was Dr. Claude Anderson, right? And decades ago, Dr. Claude Anderson said, y'all can take affirmative action and throw that in the trash. And he, again, was one of the proponents of it, components of it. He was the arm of constructing it, right? And again, decades ago, he said, throw it in the trash, because it was created for this particular people. And not only is it now being watered down to minorities, you watered it down to women. And that's not what it was made for. I am a woman, right? And for me to say that, you understand, you would understand that I understand what it is. Which, again, thank you, garbage, trash, throw it in the trash immediately. in the big garbage can, not the little one. Put it in the big, because it's a big heap of trash. Let me see where my little thing got. There we go. So that's ABCDD. Let's see what else was up here. What is this? So, good old Trump, something he did that I'm glad he did. I'm not a fan. There's not a whole lot that I know about the guy, right? We'll just say that. But what I do know, you know what I'm saying, I put y'all up on. So, No, wait. Let me talk about Elon first. Now, throughout the years, y'all have heard me talk about Elon Musk being a South African and him evading the South African military draft. He absconded. Is that what you call it? Right? And he flees to Canada. He goes to one of the Canadian universities and he transferred to Stanford University here in the States, or what they call the States, right? And originally, he was a Democratic Party supporter, majorly, right? Is what they would call him. If you can go look all of this stuff up that I'm saying, right? But when I look at it, I don't look at him as being a Democratic Party or a prior Democratic Party supporter. What he is, they call him a grifter, right? Say what you must, say what you will. But it seems to me that the Democratic Party were supporters of Elon Musk. It wasn't the other way around in my eyes because, again, Elon Musk was able to finesse, millions of dollars out of the Democratic Party, or per se directly from Barack Obama on more than one occasion, right? But again, he was able to, the millions of dollars that he borrowed, he was able to pay it back. But being that it was the Democrats who gave Elon all those millions of dollars, right? He was so called loyal to that party. I figure someone gave me hundreds of billions of dollars, unless I found out that they were participating in something that was dirty outside of business. People are dirty within business all the time, but outside of the business dealings, you find them somewhere sniffing a bag of cocaine inside the Oval Office. By the way, they did find a bag of cocaine. They found the bag of cocaine. You know what I'm saying? In the White House, what, last year before last, we talked about that, right? So they found the cocaine. I don't want to start talking about that, but they found the cocaine. Anyway, you finding bags of cocaine, and you also are finding out about people being involved in grape situations and violating, women and children and so on and so forth, right? So if it's not none of that, I don't see why Elon wouldn't still be supportive to the Democratic Party who gave him hundreds of millions of dollars, because they did give him hundreds of millions of dollars. And my question is, to the people who shout "Make America Great Again" and we want more religion in the country and we want, more traditional people, who have traditional values, never saying what the fuck that tradition is. Again, we discussed that shit week before last, and by far, based on the circumstances that I was faced with the evening that I did that bill, that was one of the best live streams I've ever done. I guarantee you. It was beautiful, right? So uh I'm saying, you make America great again, but you're allowing someone who is not just a South African, because you must understand South Africa is the brother of the United States of America, Inc. That is their brother. Do I have to repeat that? If you don't believe me, you need to go look it up and do your research and find out what year, date, and time did South Africa gain a charter, a flag, gain, you know what I'm saying? Like, when did this happen? Who supported it? Who helped? And hit the like button for me, y'all. Who helped and supported them in this journey? Who held their hand, right? So to speak. They big brother. It's who it was. But again, uh, as a great American president, would you allow someone who is not just from another nation, but someone who disrespected his country by way of dodging the military draft? Because that's what Elon did, right? Now, again, if it was anybody else other than his cousin who ditched the military draft of their homeland, Trump wouldn't be standing anywhere near their ass. We know this. These are things that we need to consider. while we are doing our trauma bonding with snakes and eagles, with two wings that flap, and when them wings flap, they seem to be smacking the shit out of you, right? That's what they do. Just consider these things. Consider the fact that they have magistrates and judges on their roster who don't give a shit about justice and liberty for anybody, because they say that the minute you walk in their courtroom, you're already guilty. Not only do they say that, they use that as an excuse to attempt to get out of jury duty and in turn end up being fired. Hold it tight. Hold on. Hold on. We need a short commercial break right quick. Hold on. Hold on. All right, I'm back. So really, you know, I don't get it. I don't get it in this, those supporters of either party that look like you and I, they don't get it either, because and I'm not talking about Nelly and Snoop making a decision to get a check to go and support Trump's nomination. I mean, his win for the election, same difference. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the average brothers and sisters online, uh, debating, arguing, and disrespecting one another, and making TikTok videos and all of that about how much they support Trump or how much they hate Trump supporters. You know, nobody's winning that fight when it comes to us. We can only lose. Me taking time out of my life to drag someone who supports either regime, it's not just a bad look, because somebody like me, I'm aware that whether you're talking about the Democratic Party or the Republican Party, that the big wigs within those parties are bloodlines. They're direct relatives, right? So they always gonna have each other's side. It's not about what you want or what you need or what this particular community needs in order to be productive, right? They may discuss these things. Again, now let's go back, because I said I was going to get on Elon before I got on Trump, and I got on Elon. So let's get back to Trump, right? Trump, I see why him and Elon so cool, because again, Elon switched up. He switched up from being a supporter of the Democratic Party to now working for the Republican Party, right? But let's talk about what Trump did. Trump in 2020, let me get my facts straight. I'll just say what it is. Trump is a former pro LBTQ on Trump's website, on Trump's campaign website, the campaign included a page for Trump Pride. Again, on Trump's campaign website, the campaign included a page for Trump Pride, claiming that Donald Trump decided to openly support the LMNOP community. The Trump Pride Coalition of 2020 campaign also stated that Trump supports same-sex marriage. So let's get to the facts. That is, you know, that can either go here nor there. So what did Trump say, right? Did Trump say, excuse me, God, he support same-sex marriage? Well, yes, he did. That's the one thing that he does support out of the whole uh homosexual movement. Let's just call it what it is. I don't got time for all them letters. That's why I never put the letters together the way that they put the letters together. So, okay, so Trump is the same guy, and this is the one thing he did that I agree with. He stopped the boys or men who feel like they aren't actually male, that they are actually female. He stopped it where they can go and play on these female sport teams, right? He stopped that, which needed to be stopped because, again, we watched the little girl get hit in the head and given a concussion from the little boy who thinks he's a little girl who spiked that ball at 100 some miles per hour and gave that girl a concussion. So up under him, allegedly, it won't be happening anymore. And I say allegedly because these executive orders, understand, I could put a bunch of executive orders that were done in the past that never went into effect as to where the general populace of people would get the reap the benefits of it, right? And we know this to be true because if you are like me and you have read since the time of the son Bush, not the daddy Bush, do you know how many executive orders that I have read, right? Especially when Obama was in office. It's a lot. It's a lot. And if you look at it and you know, okay, so what happened to this when this CEO got out of office? What happened next, right? So again, let's back up. The reason that Trump, as well as Biden, his predecessor, right? The reason that they support same-sex marriage is because to them, that's good business. There is a fee, right? When you go to get a marriage license or a marriage certificate or doing it however you doing it, you come into contract with the state of Ohio, the state of Kentucky, state of California, right? Now there is, within that union in between you and your spouse, what happens at that point is that business becomes one of the, what did I just say earlier about how they pledge the people, the citizens, as collateral for their debt? Well, that instrument that is created not only becomes a part of that, you two have basically created a business. That's why when you decide I hate your guts and I don't want to be with you no more, you just can't break ties that way. You have to have a divorce, right? The state has to be a third party in your affairs because you put them in your shit, right? But when a woman is not married, especially a woman, you know, we judge her. When a man is not married, I judge your ass. If you over 40 years old and don't have no children and never been married, and for me is married is when you've lived in a house with a woman for years and years and years and years, then y'all are married, right? Y'all just didn't put the state in y'all business, and you did not formulate some type of documentation and put it into public record within your county and blah, 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 blah. Because there's more than one way to skin a cat. We as melanated people know that more than anybody. So again, this is why Trump supports supported, because who knows, he may change that tomorrow. But again, that proves him to be a good CEO because he is good at doing business. Whether we talking about casinos or whether we talking about real estate or whether we're talking about TV shows, whether we talking about Trump on a WWE or WWF, whatever you call that shit, this is what he does, right? But again, it's, you see the double talk when you see him use a man, no matter how wealthy he is. Y'all say Elon Musk is the most wealthiest man in the world. Okay, right? But with that being said, he is still a man who should have arrest warrants in South Africa because, again, he evaded his own nation's military draft and he fled to Canada. So if I'm so patriotic and American, there's no way that I would have him anywhere near me if I was the president of the United States, because this man committed a crime when he refused to register for the military draft in South Africa and moved his ass to Canada and scooted his ass on down here and got hundreds of millions of dollars from the Democratic Party by way of Obama originally. And now he is a supporter of the, see how this shit is about business for them. Because when we talk about loyalty and standing 10 toes down and all this other language that we use, it's not the language, it's your actions that I watch. I know many people who are loyal, right? These people are loyal to, I'm talking about the White House now. These people are loyal to no one. They are loyal to remaining the largest, wealthiest regime or nation state or whatever you want, country, corporation on the planet. They need you in the positions that you are now currently in as U.S. citizens, American nationals, Cherokee citizens. Yeah, I got a good interview coming up for y'all too. We're going to talk about how, and I'm going to put it in layman's terms so that y'all can understand it. The Black Native Americans who have land, right, who haven't been restricted to having to label as a reservation or a homestead and things like this and that, right? And their land is cut off as sovereign land, right? And I can name one particular clan or tribe, right? And you would think that they only had one, for lack of a better, I got other words, but y'all not gonna understand what I'm saying to you. So you would think that this particular tribe only has one reservation, right? In one particular state. But this particular melanated tribe has multiple so-called reservations in multiple states, not in just one state. And many of us throw around the name of this tribe or confederation, as you will, kind of often. When people challenge us on whether or not there were any indigenous tribes or clans in North America, a lot of us pull the name of this particular one out often. But less than 1% of you, and I know you don't know. I know this one, I know you don't know. Right? I'm back in this piece. So a lot of us will, I'm going to put it out there. I hear a lot of people using Yamasee, right? And again, I know that y'all don't know that Yamasee has a lot of land. And it's not just in Florida. And it's not just in Georgia, right? They have a lot of land. So I'm going to have the elder come on here and we're going to go into it just a little bit, right? Because I don't want to be disrespectful. If I was going to have anybody come on the channel and speak thoroughly about it, I would use Chief Hidden Eagle, right? But I want y'all to hear it from an elder who is from the city. He's from the D, right? I want y'all to hear his perspective of it, right? So I just want to do it this way. Eventually, as time go on, I will have the chief on here. You know, I'm one of those inactive, you know, members or whatnot based on life. I never wanted to be again trapped in one ideology, right? To the point to where I stunt my own growth. And due to the fact I had one of the greatest teachers, barring none, I was able to heed that fact, right? Based off what I saw too. You see? Saw a lot. So, although again, I'm not gonna say, oh, I'm inactive. It's just the things that I've done will live on because a lot of those who are very active at this moment in various movements that I am a part of, they'll let you know in a minute. I was the one who put them on. So with that being said, my work will live forever because there's many who are eating, functioning, growing, thanks to me. I'm not even trying to be funny at all. I would rather elders who watch me grow tell others about me rather than me telling you about me. But unfortunately for me, a lot of the elders who have passed on and they not here to tell the stories. So now that I'm an elder, you know what I'm saying? That's my responsibility, right? My responsibility to, you know, orally, in the oral tradition, and what many of us never went through, which was a rites of passage, in my own way, this is what I'm doing. Said Trumpian. This shit crazy, y'all. I can't do the. It's just it's crazy enough again that how many airplane crashes we done had in 2025. So count from 2009 all the way up to 2025. No commercial jet accidents here in North America. But in the year of 2025, in less than a couple weeks, it has been multiple. So something got to be going on. This shit just, it don't just happen. You're more likely, what they say, you're more likely to have a car accident than you are to, perish by way of air travel. That's what they say. And that's the problem. People listening to what the guy is saying and they're not focused on, the fact that you are getting zero tangibles every time you cheerlead for this nigga when he opened his mouth up. But, whether you walked to the polling station or you drove out petrol to go to the polling station or you set your ass in somebody's car to get dropped off or rolled to or ride with, man, I cannot. I don't do birds. I don't do birds. I don't understand how you think that you about so-called black power and militancy or any of that when you was voting for the pellest man you ever seen with the weirdest hairdo you have ever seen. The roast that the comedians used to do back in the day on Trump hair was hilarious. I'm not doing it. I can't. And now it's like the reparation talks is just down the fucking drain. Completely. Speaking of, let me see if I can find this video for y'all. Hold on. Hopefully I can. I'm gonna have to find something to play while I do this.
YouTube, you fools try to limit me, muting and deleting channels, thinking that's the end of me. Y'all are not on my level, smaller than a centipede. This is my purpose, TBT is a ministry. I do not tire, my God gives me energy. Chose by Messiah, you believe?
All right. I found it in. Before do it say what year this is and when this? So that was in. Okay, so that's what I thought when it was sent to me a few months back. Okay, so it was from 2020, right? And this is, remember, in 2020, she was running for president. She wasn't running as Biden's vice president. So when they did the sound bite of her saying she's not going to do anything just for black people, nobody countered it with the fact that she said this. So let me take this down. And I'm not caping for nobody. Remember, I don't fuck with birds. Left wing, right, I don't do wings. I don't do none of that. But I'm about to show you why so many people was pissed. Oh, so many people who support her. Wow. So let's go back. Let me check my volume so y'all can hear it. Now, let me go back a little bit.
Reparations for descendants of Africans enslaved. If you elected president, would you sign that bill if it came across?
And they do not like her. They do not like her. And I don't care about the fact that she's not black. But if I was into politics, is no way I would have had to vote independent. There's no way I'm voting for almost 80-year-old pale skinned cat. I'm not doing it. Y'all's out y'all damn mind. I'm so not doing it. But luckily for me, I'm not a participant. I don't participate.
But in the area of reparations for descendants of Africans enslaved. If you elected president, would you sign that bill if it came across?
So again, that's 2020. And I didn't see anybody countering, that she's not going to do anything just for black people with this video. And it's a reason for that too, I'm sure. So I just know they all in the bed together. All of them. And it goes further than just the right and the left wing being in a bed together, because they doing their own bidding. They call it lobbying and lobbyists and whatnot, but again, they're doing their own bidding for various corporations that are wealthy as hell. So they not doing no bidding for no African American, no Negro, no abo, no heterosexual. They's not doing no bidding for you. Not at all, my friend. Forget about it. But I just, I didn't see this in 2020. So, which is why I don't have no problem showing it now. Because in 2020, I did not see this. I'm being honest. See, more people need to learn how to be like me and be honest. A lot of y'all out here caping with, again, no resolution, no remedy, no recourse, nowhere to be found.
But in the area of reparations for descendants of Africans enslaved, if you elected president, would you sign that bill if it came across your desk?
When I'm elected president, I will sign that
bill. All right, so we can get rid of that. Again, forget about it. Now, this is a discussion, and I would love to be wrong about this, right? But again, this discussion of reparations, with all the things that Trump mentioned, you know what I'm saying, and all the executive orders that he signed, and after he said to the blacks and the Latinos, thank you for voting for me, you dumb fucks. You know what I'm saying? He's done nothing. Nothing. And that's not what he's there for, right? He's there to make the wealthy wealthier. And those who are living in poverty, he wants to put your ass into famine. That's what he is, you know what I'm saying, orchestrating. And you do not have to have a degree in political science, which he does not, by the way. Trump does not have a degree in political science. Trump doesn't even hold a bar card, right? All of his well-paid advisors advise him on his interests and advise him on things that will enhance his interests, not your interests, not none of you who are caping for him, and so on and so forth. Not to be trusted. How could you trust it? Nothing patriotic about him or Elon. When you look at their resumes do not read patriotic. Give me something. Let me see. Give me something. Let's go back to the comments. Give me something, because it's giving mental instability, mentally unstable. Yeah, that's all. I don't have any recommendations when it comes to any of their elected or appointed officials. I have zero. So I'm not going to hold y'all. Enjoy the rest of your evening, because I shall do the same. And with that, I say peace.